Hello soulmate, welcome back to my YouTube channel. So in this video I'm going to be teaching us how to cut and draft this beautiful one shoulder blouse that has a cape. So if this is something you like, please stay tuned to the end of the video as I show you the step-by-step process on how to go about cutting and drafting it. Thank you. So I've gone ahead to impute the horizontal lines. Please make sure that your pattern paper is on full because you need a full front. So I've gone ahead to put the starting line, which will serve as the shoulder line, the chest line. You can see what I have, the chest line, your bust point. You mark your bust point, your shoulder to bust point, your shoulder to under bust, your front waist length, and your waist to your hip. You just mark it there, just as you can see. So next up, you are going to be placing half of your shoulder measurement on the shoulder line, just as you can see, on the shoulder line and on the chest line. So you rule a straight line across, just as you can see. So the basic neck width and neck depth I am working with is 3 by 3 inches, then 1 inch for shoulder slope. So you go ahead and connect these points. So just take note of the process I'm doing here because you still do the same process for the back. So you go ahead and connect it. So from this point you get the midpoint, then you come in by half of an inch, then you connect the points together to get your armhole curve. Just as you can see, you get your armhole this way. So next up, you are going to impute half of your bust band on your bust point line all through to the waistline and to the hip line. Just as you can see, your half of your bust band or half of your nipple to nipple measurement. So then you go ahead and rule a straight line across. Just as you can see, you rule a straight line. So the dart intake I'm using on the waist, I'm using about 0.5 inches on the waist. Then on the hip line I'm using about 0.25 on both sides. That's in total half of an inch. Then I'm just going to go ahead and connect it to the waistline this way. So the next thing I'm going to do is to also connect it back to the bust point. Just as you can see, I'll connect it to the bust point this way. I'll go ahead and impute one quarter of the bust measurement, one quarter of the waist measurement plus the dart intake, then 1/4 of the hip measurement plus the 0.5 in dart intake that I have there. Then go ahead and connect all the points together, just as you can see. So now let's go ahead to contour the under bust. So what I am going to do here is to divide your under bust circumference divided by 4. That is what you measure your body, you divide it by 4. Then you place it here. So whatever you have left is what you are going to use to contour your under bust. Do you guys understand? Is what you are going to use to contour your under bust. So I think I had about 1.25. So after the dart leg, you mark about half of an inch, or you mark 0.25, then you mark 1 inch on the other side. It's going to be after the dart leg. Do you understand? So you mark what you have. So if you have a process that you usually do for your under bust contouring, you can go ahead and do that. Do you guys understand? If it always give you a beautiful contouring, you can go ahead and do that. So you go ahead and connect it to the bust points this way on both sides. Just as you can see, you connect it to the bust point on both sides this way. So I'm just trying to get the curve. So you connect it this way, just as you can see. So for the bust dart, the difference between the front and back waist length is 1 inch. So I'm going to mark 1 inch below the bust point, then below the bust line, then connect it to the bust points this way, just as you can see. You can see what I have. So next up, I want to snatch the waist. I'm snatching the waist by 2 inches. So I'm taking 2 inches from the actual measurement. So what I do is I'll say 2 inches divided by 4. You know we have 4 sides, so that's going to give me what? 0.25. So I'm just going to mark 0.25 around the waistline, then just connect it this way. You can see what I have. Then connect it to the hip line. So this way the waist is snatched by 2 inches. It's snatched by 2 inches already. So now we're going to do a princess dart. So you get the midpoint of your hammer, then you connect it to the bust point this way. You connect it to the bust point this way, just as you can see. So I'm going to tighten it by 1 inch, just as you can see. I'm tightening it by 1 inch. Then I'll connect it back to the bust point this way. And I'll make sure that the line is extended outside of the armhole so that I can mark 1 inch from that point, just as you can see. Then what am I going to do? I'm going to reshape the new armhole. So this is going to be our new armhole. Do you understand? This is what we are going to work with. So now we need a full front, so I'm going to go ahead and use my tracing wheel to trace some parts of this pattern paper. So I'm not going to be tracing the princess dart part. I'm not going to be tracing this princess dart part, but just tracing the exact armhole that we drafted initially, so that you can see what we are going to do with it. Do you guys understand? So now we have a full front, just as you can see. You can see what I mean, that I was not going to do the princess dart on the other side. So we have a full front. So now you have to label your pattern, the right side and the left side. So you need to determine where you want the off shoulder to fall. Do you understand? Where the cape is going to drape on. Do you guys understand? So you know that one part of the shoulder is sleeveless. So let's just do a little bit of bracadabra. So you go in by 1 inch from this part, from the neckline. So then you determine how wide you want the shoulder to be. So in this case, I'm using about 2.5. Yours can be 3 inches. So yeah, you determine how low or how high the off shoulder should be. So at this point, I marked about 5 inches. So I'm just going to look for a way to connect it from that point to this point. So yes, so I don't want it to go a bit into the neckline, so that neckline that we already have. So I'm just trying to do it this way, just to make sure that it makes sense. So if you need to blend some parts, please go ahead and blend it so you don't have sharp edges. So that part, I needed to blend it very well because it was looking funny. Okay, I think it's okay now. So the sleeve around the shoulder is not falling directly on the shoulder, you understand? So you can go in by 1 inch or half of an inch, but in this case, since the width of the shoulder I'm working with is 2.5, so what I have left is about 1 inch. So on the first princess dart leg there, I marked about half of an inch. Since it's sleeveless, I marked about half of an inch there, you can see. Then I connected to this point. Then on this part too, I marked about half of an inch. Then I reconnect it into the armhole. Since I marked half of an inch on the first dart leg of the princess dart, I'm going to mark half of an inch on the second dart leg of the princess dart. So the part I am marking X, we're not going to be using that line. So it's the middle line that we're going to be working with. Do you understand? So the reason for that is so that it will align well by the time you are cutting or by the time you are sewing. You'll not be having shortage. Do you guys understand? So that's the reason for what I did there. But if you don't want to do it, you can just leave it and go ahead if you feel it will work for you. So on this second side, I'm going to extend the dart. That's the nipple to nipple line. I'm going to extend it. So on both sides, I'm going to tighten it by 0.75. You need to tighten it. It is very important. You need to tighten that place very firmly. So if you feel 0.75 will work for you or 0.5 will work for you, it depends on your choice. So I'm tightening it by 0.75. Then I'm going to measure what I have on the first dart leg. What I have on the first dart leg is more, so I'm going to place it on the side. So that is why you are going to see me extending the line like this. You can see what I'm doing. I extended the line like this. So you know that this side is like tube already, so you need to be careful not to have a lot of flesh showing. So what I did was to just go down, come up around the chest line by half of an inch. So I have about half of an inch there. So that is why I slanted it into half of an inch that is there. That's why I slanted it into that half of an inch, just as you can see. Yes, so I think we're done with this upper part. Yes, I think we're done. So I'm just going to go ahead and fold the paper into two so that we can work on the bottom part. So below the waistline, you need to determine the length you want to use. You can use 4 inches, but in this case I just marked about 5 inches. So I'm going to roll a straight line, just as you can see. So then you determine the length of your blouse. So the length of the blouse I have is about 25 inches. So on that point, I marked about 3 inches or 2.5. So just to give it that conical effect by the side. So yeah, from the waistline, you have to connect it to that point. So I'm trying to look for the part of this pattern rulers that will make sense. So I'm just going to go ahead and connect it to that point, just as you can see, so that it will give you that conical effect that it has. So now I already have the length of my blouse. I already have the length, so I'm just going to go ahead and connect it this way as well. So you are going to have this round, sort of round effect. So I'm just going to go ahead and connect it this way, just as you can see. You can see what we have. So this is what you are going to have basically. So yeah, I think we're done with the bottom part. So I'm just going to trace this part that I just did, so that we can have a full front for the back. So I can show you what the bottom part looks like. So basically this is what it looks like. Yes, this is what it looks like, sha. This is what it looks like, sha. So now we're going to go ahead and move on to the back. So we need to move on to the back. So for the back, I've gone ahead to the pattern paper to use on fold for the back. So I've gone ahead to mark the shoulder line, the chest line. The back waist length is different from the front waist length. Please take note of that. Then I also marked out the waist to hip. I've already gone ahead to mark that. So I've already placed the shoulder measurements, because I already mentioned it earlier that I should take note of what I did for the front. So whatever I did for the front pattern is what I did for the back, concerning this shoulder, 1 inch shoulder slope, getting the midpoint there, connecting it to get your armhole. So it's the same process for the front pattern. So I'm going to be placing 1/4 of the bust measurement on the chest line. That's 1/4 of it. Then 1/4 of the waist measurement. After you've snatched, then you place it on the waistline. Then you also place 1/4 of the hip measurement on the hip line. Then you go ahead and connect all the points together, just as you can see. You connect the points together. So next up, what we did for the waistline, we came down from the waistline by 5 inches, just as you can see. So you also come down for the back by 5 inches as well, so that it can align well. So this straight line I'm really is just for a guide. So the next thing you want to do is you want to determine the length of the back. So the length of the back, I think I used about 22 inches, but yours can be more, depends on what you want. So I used 22 inches. I'm just going to go ahead and roll a straight line across. So remember that I used 2.5 inches or 3 inches for the front for this conical effects. So the same process I did for the front, I'm also going to apply for the back. So you guys understand, same process I did for the front, I'm going to apply for the back. So I'm just trying to be sure that it's the same size of ruler that I'm using for that side as well. So you go ahead and connect it as well. So you go ahead and connect it this way, just as you can see, connect it this way. So next up, the back went a little bit high, so above the chest line I marked about 1.5 inches. So yours can be 1 inch or so, just depends on what you want. So I marked about 1.5 inches. So I went ahead to roll a straight line across, just as you can see. So here I marked about 1 inch. Then on this our new chest line I marked about 2.5 inches. So here we are going to determine, we are eliminating some parts of the pattern paper. So this is where your lacing bar is going to be. I'm just trying to make it visible. So that other part that we ruled, we are going to be cutting it off. So this is what we have. So the next thing I'm going to do is I need my tracing wheel. I need to trace a full front. So this is what a full front looks like. This is what it looks like. So this part that is marked X, I marked like this, is something that we're going to cut out. Then you also indicate the left and the right hand side. It is very important so that you don't make mistakes. You indicate the left and the right hand side, just as you can see. So I'm going to bring out the front pattern so that we can see a little bit of magic that we did. So look at the left side and the right side. You can see that they are different. So now you can see for the left side I came up by 1/2 inch. By the side I came up by 1/2 inch. So I'm just going to repeat that same process, go up by 1/2 inch. If you want to come down by 1/2 inch or just leave it that way, It just depends on you. It depends on what you know will work for you or what you know this will work for your client. So you can see I connected it back into the armhole. You can see what I did. I just connected it back into the armhole. So whatever works for you is what you should do. This is just like a guide. So next up, this is our center back. So remember that after the neck width of 3 inches, I came in by 1 inch, same way for the front. Then the shoulder width was about 2.5 inches, so I already have 2.5 inches for the right side. So I'm using this front pattern paper as a guide, and I'm just going to go ahead and connect it into the new chest line that we raised up, just as you can see. So I'm just going to connect it this way. Then it's 2.5 inches, so I'm also going to determine how wide it should be on the chest line as well. So it's also 2.5 inches, and I'm also going to go ahead and connect it, just as you can see. So I need to blend it into the armhole so that it can connect well. So that part now we're going to be cutting it off. It's going to stand as a yoke for the back, for the shoulder back. Do you guys understand? So I'm just going to go ahead and just blend every sharp edges, just as you can see. Just blend it in this way. So I'm going to make sure that I label it as the right yoke. That's for the back piece. The next thing we are going to do is to go ahead and cut. We are done drafting, so we're going to go ahead and cut. Just carefully look at what I am doing. So you also cut the other side as well. So if you have not liked this video at this point, please kindly do so, and don't forget to hit on the subscribe button, comment, like and share. Thank you guys. So yeah, we are going to go ahead and cut off the front. So yeah, we need to open up the bust dart on both sides. You open it up to this point, then you close it using your paper tape. You go ahead and close it using your paper tape, just as you can see. You close it using your paper tape. You repeat the same process for the other side as well. Then you reshape the lines. You reconnect the lines. You reconnect the lines. So when you do that, you go ahead to continue cutting. So I dropped a post like sometime last week asking if you want to learn fashion design for free. So I said if you want to learn fashion design for free, that you should comment fashion. So if you actually want to learn fashion design for free as a beginner, so I'll advise that you comment fashion and look forward to a post that I'm going to share before this week runs out on what that I'll be teaching you guys. You guys understand? So thank you very much. So I'll go ahead and connect this part as well, then cut off the unwanted papers, just as you can see. So this is what we have after cutting. So I'll just try to explain the cape part. So the cape can come in when you are done sewing, like when you have joined all your fabrics together, you can just attach the cape, because the cape goes into the back pattern, and also you want to bone it or add crinoline mesh for it to give a structure. So it goes in after it goes into the back. It goes in from the front shoulder all the way to the back. You guys understand? So that's the way the cape is. So that's why I'm just trying to use my mouth to explain. So it goes in from the shoulder all the way to the back. So I'm just going to place the back pattern of one of this side. So let me place this here. It goes in all the way to the back. So let's place this like this. So it's going to go in all the way to the back. There's a possibility you are going to be tacking it also. Do you guys understand? So that is the way the cape is basically. So it's really nothing so difficult. So if you want structure for your outfit, add boning to it. You can also add collar stay, which is also known as peplum stay also, like if you want your outfit to have structure and all. So basically we have come to the end of this tutorial. So I'll see you guys in my next class, and I'll also look forward to the post that I said I was going to post concerning learning fashion for free. So now this is the yoke. So in order for this yoke not to gape, you need to eliminate some parts. So at this side, I'm just going to mark about half of an inch, then slant it in. So I'll slant it in, then cut it. So this way, when you attach it, it's not gaping. It's going to sit firmly on your shoulder. It's going to sit firmly on your shoulder. So that's that for that. And so this is what we have. So thank you guys for watching. See you very soon, and happy new month.